Okay, hi DIY doers, I'm Belle and welcome to my workshop. In today's video we're going to be making some Valentine's Day crafts. So in today's video we're going to create a little Valentine's Day sign. So with Christmas just gone, my house kind of looks a little bit boring. I took down all the Christmas decorations and I'm going to make some Valentine's Day decorations to liven up and make the house look a little bit pretty again. So I found this blank at Target. It's just a little hanging wooden blank, and I'm just going to create a little design to go on top of here. Okay, so what you're going to need for today's project, you're going to need a blank. You don't have to have the exact same one that I do. You could use just a circular wooden cutout or maybe a rectangle one. Just depends what you want to use. Then you need a cutting mat, some transfer tape. I raided my adhesive vinyl stash and just got some offcuts. So this is a great project to use some offcuts of vinyl as well. So I've got two different colors. We have our scraper. We also need a weeding tool, and you also need a cutting machine. I also used a ruler as well to measure my blank. Alright, so let's jump into the LOKLiK Idea Studio and design our decal. Okay, so I've just opened up the LOKLiK Idea Studio. Now, if you have a different cutter, you should be able to follow the steps that I do and transfer them over to your program, whether you use Cricut Design Space or Silhouette Studio or whatever. But today I'm using the LOKLiK Idea Studio. So we're going to create a little design. I am going to be using fonts. So if you need help installing those fonts, I do have a separate video. I will link that video in the description below for you. Okay, so we're just going to create a cute Valentine sign. Okay, so we're going to get our text box and this one. This is going to be hello, and we're going to grab another text box, and this one's going to say Valentine. So we have our two text boxes. Now I'm just going to change the font of the first one. Wherever I got my fonts from as well, I'll have a link in the description telling you how to download it as well, or where to download it, sorry. I'm going to go into system fonts because that's where your fonts are. And you don't have to use these fonts, you can use any fonts that you want. For the first font, we're going to use the Valent. Very cute. I like how this looks. And then Valentine, we're going to make this, again, we're just going to go into system fonts. And I'm going to make this the, there it is, the I Love Glitter font. I forgot what the font was actually called. So I'm just going to click on the I Love Glitter font. Now I'm just going to scale up the Valentine font. So we can go to font size up here and click the up arrow, or you can actually type in what you want. I think I want it 75. T. That looks a bit better. Okay, so we've got our hello and we've got Valentine. Now with this Valentine, I'll just zoom in a little bit here. And you can see there's these little gaps everywhere. So to change that, because all these gaps are actually where the machine's going to cut, and we don't want all those to cut. So what we need to do is we're just going to go to the view and we're going to go to the contour. And now you can actually see those lines properly, how each individual letter is going to cut out instead of the whole word. So we're just going to combine all these letters so it comes out in one piece of vinyl instead of a whole heap of pieces of vinyl. So we're just going to come up to the combine and we're going to click on the subtract at crossover. Now, if you see, all our little lines are gone and it's actually going to cut out in one continuous piece of vinyl. Now we can go back to fill and that looks much better. Okay, so we've got our hello and our Valentine. I'm just going to highlight them both by clicking and dragging a rectangle over both of them. And we're just going to align horizontally. So now I know that this has the same distance on either side. And I'm gonna put this, I'm just gonna make this bigger. Okay, so now I've just made the hello take up 4 squares just so I can get my measurements for the little graphic that I'm going to do in the middle. So for this graphic, it's just simple really. We're just going to take the heart shape and we're going to scale it down. Going to go dead center. Now I can see that it's pretty much center. Because the point is pretty well in line with that line there. That's pretty dead on. Okay, now I'm just going to make another copy of this heart. So we can press Control C and then Control V. And we're actually going to tilt this. go round about. Let's go 20. I'm going to make it a little bit lower and put it on that line there. Now I'm going to press Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Copy that. And we're just going to flip this so it mirrors this. So if we come up to flip, we can flip horizontally. And then move it over to the same position. Just like that. Now to finish this decal off, I'm just going to grab a square and I'm going to draw just a little rectangle. Out to the side, and then we're just going to copy. So Control C and Control V. And we're just going to mirror that exact same this side. Now if you're not sure if that's totally in line, you can just grab another rectangle, line it up with one of them, down that one. Okay, and we don't need that, so we can just delete. Okay, so there's our little sign that we're going to put onto our heart. Now, when you're beginning, I do find it easier to actually change all these layers into the corresponding vinyl color that you're going to be using. Just so you know what color you need to put on the mat and what you're cutting, yeah? So let's change our colors. So this hello, I want to be purple, and same with the Valentine. That's going to be purple as well. And these are going to be like a creamy color. So it's really not like traditional Valentine's Day colors. I don't really like pink. I'm not a very big pink girl, but I do like purple. So that is our design. Now, before you go any further, I do recommend saving it. So let's save it. And I might create a new folder. And we're going to call this Valentine's Day Craft. Okay, so it's in our Valentine's Day craft. And we're going to call this Hello Valentine sign. And we're saving it. Okay, so that's our design done. Now we just need to make sure it's going to fit our blank. So I did a quick measurement of our blank, or my blank, and I'm just going to highlight all of them, so all the layers. And I need this to be 140 millimeters, because my blank is only 14 millimeters wide. 14 centimeters wide. So now this is only 14 centimeters wide, and this is our longest part, or our widest part of the design. I'm just going to move this up a little bit. That's 6 centimeters. So I've got to get this Valentine word under 12 wide. So I might just highlight the whole thing and change this from 140 millimeters, let's say 120 millimeters. Okay, now that's 10. Okay. So I've changed it to 130. So this Valentine, the length of that, I was just worried it wouldn't fit in the tiny point part of the heart. But I've got 12 centimeters here, and this only is 11 centimeters, so it should fit. Okay, so that is our measurement done. Okay, so our design is pretty fine, if I do say so myself. So before we hit make it, I'm just going to go over to my machine and make sure it's turned on. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to select the group, and then we're going to press make it. Now it says device not connected, so let's connect our device. I'm going to connect via Bluetooth, and we're going to search. Okay, so that is my machine. We're going to press connect. Now it says connected with that little tick, and we're going to complete connection. So there's my device. Now if you've got the new LOKLiK icraft, you should be able to follow along with this process pretty easily as well. I don't have my icraft yet, but this process should be the same. If you're using a different software, it might be a little bit different. So we're just cutting vinyl today. So mode selection, we're going to standard cut, cutting mat, yes, and we're using the 30 by 30 cutting mat. And we're going to cut both the purple and the cream colour. Now, material type, we're actually using adhesive vinyl. So it's just matte permanent vinyl. That's all I've got. I've actually got the HTV brand vinyl. We're just going to have the default cutting force. We don't need to mirror because it's just normal vinyl. And we're going to add to task. Okay, so it wants our purple layer first. So we have our mat here. We're going to take the plastic cover off our mat. Don't throw this away because you put it back on to make sure your mat stays nice and sticky. Now, this does have a side for your mat to stick onto, and this side is not. So if you do, or if you're worried that you might get the two sides mixed up, you can always just put a little sticker on the top, and that way you'll know which side to put back on. So we have our mat. I'm using the standard grip mat because that's for vinyl. And I might just cut I don't know what it was, but there was some sticky stuff on that part. So I'm just going to cut that bit off. Then we're just going to line this up in the corner. Make sure it's nice and straight. I'm just going to get our roller and roll it onto our mat. So it's nice and stuck down. Now we're going to come over to our machine. We're just going to line up the guides. So our mat is nice and flush with this guide. And we're going to hold the bottom of the mat so it's pushing that way, and we're going to load. Now our mat is loaded. We can come back over to Idea Studio and press start. And that mat is all done. So we're just going to press the unload button. Now before you unload your mat as well, you can actually check to see if your cut was good. But this one's fine. And if it wasn't good, you could actually press start again and it will cut a second time. If you unload your mat, you can't cut it again, as the cut line might not be entirely the same. So I just flipped my mat over and peeled the mat away from the vinyl, so the vinyl keeps straight instead of curling. All right, we'll put that to the side. And in the meantime, we can then cut our next. So I'm just looking at my mat and this is around about there-ish on the mat on the screen. So I'm going to put my vinyl there, brayer it down again, make sure it's stuck to the mat, come over to the machine again, pushing at the back and then pressing the load button, and then we can press start. And while that's cutting, we can then go ahead and weed out this vinyl. So if you're not sure, weeding is the process of getting rid of all the stuff we don't want and leaving our design on there. That mat's finished. That was super quick. We'll unload, come back over to our table, and we'll just peel the vinyl and peel the mat away from the vinyl. Now you don't ever want to bend this too far to create a crease in your mat. You'll feel, you know, where's too far and how flexible your mat is when you start to do this. But be careful not to bend your mat. So we're just going to put our cover back on our mat because our mat is finished for today. Okay, now I'm just going to weed out these designs. So if you get your weeding tool, and you can just grab the corner, hold down the backing, and just slowly peel the vinyl away, leaving your design on there. Now I could have actually cut around there and saved that vinyl for another project, but I did not. Okay, so this one, same process. Just go nice and slow. Making sure everything stays. Now there is a little bit of innards. I'll put it on here so you might be able to see it better. So I'm just removing the I forget what they're called. They do have a name. And we've got one heart in the O. And there's our design. So now, because we've got two layers, this goes there. I'm actually going to put this layer on the transfer tape first, I think. So I've got some transfer tape. I don't particularly like this transfer tape, but I'm trying to use up what I have. So I might just cut it there. So that's I might use this line here so I know that this is straight. So to do that, I'm just going to peel back this backing a little bit, and then line that line up, and then peel it down. Oh, it's not straight. Alright, that looks pretty straight to me. Now I'm going to flip it over, get our brayer, and just rub that vinyl onto the transfer tape. Now we're going to peel the backing off the vinyl, and if any vinyl sticks back up onto the backing, just rub it. There we go. Now we have our hearts. I just got some sticky tape. Just going to roll that, stick that on the back, just so this kind of is flat, so we can line this up. And that looks pretty straight to me. So again, just burnish front and back. And now we just go nice and slow. And I find it's easier if you bend the transfer and the backing over itself. And just going nice and slow. Then we have our design. That looks really cute. It's probably easier to see there. Alright, so now we have our blank. Now, I've been touching this quite a bit. So I've just got a microfiber cloth and some rubbing alcohol. 1 squirt should be enough. And I'm just going to wipe it. Oop. Just like that. Try and make that straight as possible. And then that is pretty much center. Sorry about my head if it got in the way. And I'm just going to burnish this down. And then just peel back nice and slowly. I do it at an angle as well, as I find it helps. And there we go. Now with this transfer tape, you can actually reuse it. So put that backing back on it that you took off it and put that in your drawer, and you can use it for your next project. Let's cut this tag off here. And that is our little cute Valentine sign. It turned out really cute. So you could easily recreate this and put it on anything that you wanted. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. You guys have a craftastic day, and I will see you in the next video.